Hey guys, welcome back to Whitetail Affinity. I'm finally out this spring, finally able to get out and do a little scouting mission today. It's February 24th. Weather's beautiful. It's been unseasonably warm, as most of you probably know, so I figured I'm going to take advantage of a day to get out when I can. I've been pretty busy. We just, after hunting season, I just took a pause, caught up on the honey-do list and took a little time to just recharge a little bit after the season. So I'm out here in this piece that I hunted last year. I hunted the east side of this piece, and there's a lot of deer here. Most of the sign that I've seen is over that way, but I decided to check out this, 30 or 40 acre chunk of woods here on the west side of the property to see what's over here. It's pretty much big timber surrounded by a lot of crop fields. There's this opening here. I've walked this whole edge. It's about 1,000 yards wide or so, 800,000 somewhere in there. But just kind of looking for the most heavily used trails that come out of these woods. Like I said, there's crops across the road, there's crops to the south, there's crops every direction. So I'm looking for these heavily used trails, and I got down to that end. There's a box blind and a ladder stand. Didn't see much for sign. Wasn't much for sign back on the other side. I'm guessing because it's so close to the access points on this piece of public land. So I'm pretty much smack dab in the middle of this, and I found 2 or 3 good trails here within 30 yards of each other, and they all come out of these woods. So I'm gonna hop on this trail right here. Seems to be the best sign that I've found so far, and dive in here and see what we can see. I'm guessing there's bedding in here. I haven't ever been in here, like I said, so I'm hoping to figure out if there's oaks in here, if there's bedding, sign, all the good stuff. So maybe pick out a tree if I can find a good spot. So that's kind of my goal for today, and glad to be back out, glad to be back here and putting out some content for you guys. It's been a little bit, so let's take a walk and see what we can see. Well guys, I made it through the biggest part of the woods, the main center part, and got back here. There's an edge out here that's real tall swamp grass, and I found this ladder stand here overlooking this little opening in the woods. I'm not sure what this looks like in the fall, or if this is real wet. I don't see a lot of trails coming through here, but I did see a lot of tracks and trails crossing back all through those woods in the snow and trails. And so getting back here, there's a crop field to the south still. So I'm just gonna mark this spot, and so I know where this ladder stands at, make sure I don't disturb this area come hunting season. So I'm gonna head up here. I want to kind of circle around the back side of this because I don't know if it's higher ground. It's hard to tell if that's higher, if it goes up, or if it's just thick red brush and whatnot. But I want to see the back side of this, and there's more woods back that way. So I'm going to circle up here, go around. And mostly what I'm trying to find is, like I said, bedding and rubs and all that stuff, but also other hunters. I've never been in this section before on this side, so finding that is, a good thing in my book. Finding hunters is just as important as finding deer. So if you can do that. There's another old ladder stand that used to be here. Real old. Some wire mesh. So this spot I might just stay right away from. I probably wouldn't hunt here anyway. It's pretty open. I don't think, since I come out of those woods back there, I have not seen hardly any sign of deer. So it's probably just too open or hunted or both. Here's a nice trail right here that I'm not sure, looks like an old logging road or something that cuts through back here. Out there you can kind of see, maybe not, that white is the field, that white line out there. It's still quite a ways away. But between here and there's a real thick tag alder and red brush and marsh grass and stuff like that. And I honestly haven't seen anything for buck sign on this side at all. I haven't found a single rub yet. I've walked almost a mile so far, so most of those woods too was all maple and ash. There wasn't a lot of food. There wasn't even a lot of browse. There wasn't even none of this stuff. I'm gonna come around the back side, see what I can see. And I think what I'm gonna do is go out here and loop around out by the field. I cut through the middle, but most of the time I try to focus on edges because we all know that's where deer like to travel, is on edges. So the edge of this little opening here, the edge where this woodlot meets the grassy area out here, that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on. If anything, I'll rule this spot out because I know the other side has got some deer in it. There's a lot of sign over there, so hopefully we find something. Well, I made it to the east edge of the property of the public, and ground blind there, box blind, and I followed this trail. I don't know if this was a bait pile or what this was. It's pretty tore up, but just not a lot of deer sign coming through here. There's a couple trails coming out of this thick stuff, but I'm pretty sure this right here is a human walking path. There's another tree stand that I found up here, just off the edge of this trail. Twigs, branches snapped off, so pretty sure this side's getting hit pretty hard with pressure. There's no rubs. I haven't found a single rub, no scrapes. Like I said, a couple trails. Nothing that would make me hunt over here. So I'm gonna head back and I'm gonna cut across this grassy, thick tag alder stuff to the other side where I hunted last year. There's a lot more buck sign over there, a lot less hunter sign as well. So I'm gonna go check that out, really dig into that. I wanted to get into the thick part of that over there. I kind of just skirted the edges of it last year trying to figure it out, and didn't really want to bother the bedding, what I assume is bedding, and so now's the time to dive in there. So pretty much I'm writing off this side of this property, and that's kind of what my goal it was today, just to check it out, see what it looked like. I know there's deer over here, but I don't think that any decent buck would ever come through here other than during the rut when they're stupider. Right here's that tree stand right up there. Could be a good spot. I mean, there's deer here. Obviously, I've seen, like I said, a few trails, but not the kind of sign. I would almost be willing to bet that the deer are out here bedding in this stuff, because these woods right here are just way too open for deer to be bedding in, especially on public. I mean, this obviously gets hammered pretty good. I don't think these woods are the ticket. I think over there's some water, thick, nasty stuff. That's where they're at. That's where all the sign's at. So I'll show you guys some of that sign here. Okay guys, so after watching this video through, I kind of decided that I wanted to get something to give you guys a better visual on what I was doing. It was kind of hard to, even for me, if I was watching this, I would get kind of confused on how I was doing things and where I was going. So I bought this whiteboard. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I bought this whiteboard to kind of help give you a visual of the scouting ventures that I go on, to give you a better idea of what I'm looking for, you know, how the properties kind of lay out, where I'm going and how I'm navigating through, and what I'm finding and where I'm finding it. And I figured this would also help break up the monotony of these videos a little bit, you know, give you a little break in just the scouting. So to start off this first section, what you just saw there was the parking is over here. This here is the state property. It's basically the same as laid out as what it actually is. It's not exact, but it's close enough to where you get the idea of what's going on. So we got a road down here. I forgot to put in here, there's more crop fields across the road here. There, so there's more crops across the road here. Parking's here. What I did, the first section here that you just seen, I parked here and I walked like this. I just came along this edge all the way down. just to about there. So this all right here, this green is all grass and small trees, nothing, it's mostly grasses. And when it's in season and during the summer, I mean, this stuff's over my head tall. So this all could be bedding, all this stuff. So what I did was walk this edge, and I wanted to get to this side because I've hunted this. So this is the side that I hunted last year. This here I'd never been into. So I wanted to get over here and check to see where these runways were coming out. Down here, there was a ladder stand on this private woods and a box blind. I found there was a couple of trails coming out of here throughout, but the main big ones that I found were right in here. There was like 3 or 4 that were in this right in the middle, like a 30-yard stretch. So I come back and I walked up in here, and I just kind of went through the middle, and I could see, I mean, it's pretty open woods once you get in there. So that's why I didn't really go venturing off. I could just tell that it was pretty open woods, a lot of maple and ash, and I would never just hunt there. So kind of come up through the middle, and this is right here is where I made it to that small opening and found that first ladder stand. So then from there I come up and I come around to this kind of an opening right here. This green here is more grass, and there was basically a beat down trail all the way down through here. And this is where I found that tree stand in the middle, and then the box blind at the very end on the private in the farm field. So no, there were some trails coming through here, back and forth a little bit, but nothing to where I would set up. I mean, it was just, they're probably in there just browsing as they need to be. I mean, it's really open woods. So I just kind of cruised through, saw this stuff here, pretty much at that point had seen what I needed to see, and turned around and come back through here, come across and went back over to here, which is what you'll see right now, and then we'll go through this side at the end. So guys, I've made it across the grassy tag alder red brush area between these two, between the main big woods and this real small, I shouldn't say real small, it's probably 20 acres of real thick red brush and tag alder, that a lot less grass. It's way more dense trees, what I would consider way better bedding. And this is where all the sign is, like I just showed you there, that cluster of rubs. I mean, as soon as you come over here and hit this edge, there's rubs in all these trees all the way back, and a lot more pronounced runways and just a lot better sign. And one of the things is I haven't seen a single, from today and past hunting, coming out here hunting, I have not seen a single tree stand, a single tack. It's a little harder to get to than the big woods up there, so I think that's part of it. But there's a lot less trees to hunt out of. There's another little rub right here. So this is where I wanted to focus on. There's a couple more rubs right back over there. I don't know if you can see those, but just a lot better sign. And I think it's, like I said, it's harder to get to. It's thicker. There's not a lot of trees. A lot of these trees are just tiny little popples, and they're hard to get up in. Not only that, but you'd stick out like a sore thumb. So it's just harder to hunt, and this is where I wanted to focus on. So I'm going to dive in here and see what we can find. As you can see, there's a lot better runways coming in and out of here. So I'm going to do a little walk through here, see if I can find some beds. Like I said, I hunted the fringes of this last year. I didn't want to come in here because I saw all this sign on the edges. And so I knew there was a buck or bucks in here. I just didn't want to blow it out. And that's why I'm out here tearing it up today, trying to figure out where these deer are going in here when they come in. So another runway there. It's tore up in here. So it's pretty exciting. I'm hoping to find a good spot, a tree maybe, or even if I have to be on the ground, I'm not opposed to that. So in addition to it being thick, there's a lot more water on this side. There's it's watery, marshy area back over here. And that's kind of a common theme. If you guys have watched any of my videos, is I like to focus on water. Water's like number one in my strategy, I guess, if you will. I think it trumps food. I think it trumps a lot of things, because a lot of times where there's water, there's bedding. And thought I just heard something. But the deer feel safe where there's water. You know, predators don't like to go in it. People don't like to go in it. And especially this kind of stuff, you know, it's going to be hard enough to find a spot to even hunt this, let alone try to come out here blind or, you know, in the dark. And the deer know that. I just followed this trail down through here from where it splits off back there. And this is so thick in here, guys. Like, I'm guessing in the fall there's not this much water because of obviously all the snow melt and everything. But coming down this trail, and the crop field's right out here, and I'm probably 80, 100 yards from it now. Found this big rub. I mean, this thing is, you rip the bark off all the way up here. I don't know if you can see how I'm 6 foot, and this is ripped off all the way up here, and looks like he shredded it, you know. You can see back here his tines were ticking on this tree as he was rubbing this one. That's what we're looking for. There's another small tree broke off there. Trails going out. So I'm gonna come up here. There's really not anywhere back in here to be able to hunt. I mean, it's so thick. Once you get back in there, I could probably hunt this, but with everything green, any kind of foliage on the trees, you know, it's gonna be, you're not gonna have a shot in here. So this is pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. It was real thick, not huntable bedding. So I'm going to be probably forced to stick to the edges unless I can find a pocket in here somewhere that would be shootable. So I'm going to come up here. I've been up here before. I've skirted around this edge. I've just never been in here. Here's another really good runway coming through, going up through there. So there's all kinds of trails in here, all kinds of sign. I know this is where they come. It's probably, I really haven't seen, I've seen a couple tracks, but I don't think they're in here right now. I think this is a during season spot. When there's pressure that starts getting put on them, this is where they come. And especially during the rut where all the does are coming in here too to get away from all the pressure from the big woods. And so it's pretty exciting to see a rub like that. I mean, that's a big one. I'm gonna make my way up here. Over here is like a little, kind of like a little lane, almost like an old logging road. And I've walked that before, but I want to look at it again. I want to look on the back side of it. I didn't go on the back side. I was in here during season, and I want to see if it looks like there might be bedding on that side in the marshy, thick, watery stuff. All right, so bear with me, guys. I'm trying to make my way back to the field, but I kind of got sidetracked here. So that big rub we just saw is somewhere right over in there. I come up here and I hit this trail right here, and I look down in here, and just take you with me real quick. Nice rub there. Another pretty good one right there. Another pretty nice one right there. That one's about belly high. This tree right here is completely snapped right off that he was rubbing on. And I mean, if I can see rubs all through here. So there's definitely a buck using this area. And this is right along this edge of this field. So it's almost, you can see the runways coming through here. So that's what's hard, is I guarantee you this deer is coming through here in daylight. If it's in daylight, he's coming through here. He's not going out there by that field edge. And it's probably just scent checking all these trails that come out of here, because there's a bunch of them that come out going up, you know, all through here. But I can just see rubs, I mean, all over, up and ahead of me. So it's really cool to find. The hard part about this whole spot is that it might look open right now. It looks like you could climb up in any of these trees and have a shot down through here. Oh, there's a big one right over there. I don't know if you can see that through there. I gotta check it out. Oh, this ice sucks. I just fell. Hurt my hip. Man, look at this. It's another really good one. Right along this trail right here that goes in. So I'm about 40 or 50 yards probably from that other trail with the big rub. And then I come through this kind of parallel trail to the field here. There's also one right here that goes up to the field, but it's definitely, there either was or there is a very nice deer working this area. Oh, there's another one. They're all over in here. I mean, this is where it's at. But this right here is why he's living in here, because you just cannot. And I can even see one down even further up on the side of a tree. I guess I'm gonna walk this trail too, see what's up. There's that one. There's been something in here. Here. I mean, I could keep going. I see more up ahead. It's pretty cool. But again, I mean, if you look around, there's literally nowhere to get up in. Oh, there's another one. It's tore up in here. So it's a really good sign. I know they're bedding in here. That's the main part. As far as hunting it, it's gonna have to be on the edges of this stuff. I mean, there's just no way 10-yard shot, maybe. And by that time, he's already spotted you. So drawing a bow is pretty much out of the question in here. But the amount of sign, I mean, there's trails. Look at this trail right here, goes out. So something else to look for too, guys. Like these trails with this big rub on it here. Every trail that I've come down that's got these big rubs is wide enough to fit a rack down. You know, he could turn his head here to get around this little stuff, but all these bigger trails that have these big rubs, I mean, I can almost walk down them upright without bending over, without branches smacking me in the face. So if you're looking for a big buck, obviously, kind of something to remember is look for trails that will let him get down there with that rack. And if you look at trails with thick stuff that almost looks like your dog could fit through it, that's probably does, most likely. And these bigger deer, they have to have room to get through. So something to remember, something to think about. So I'm gonna make my way back over here by that first big rub that I found and come out here to the field edge, and I'm gonna wrap around over to that lane over here. And there was some sign on that trail, but I want to see if any of these runways intersect that parallel this way, because these are all going out to this crop field, all these ones. So I want to kind of see if if there's any trails coming out of this that intersect that over there, because you can actually hunt that. I mean, I've looked around in here. Like I said, this looks totally different when it's in season. All this stuff would be grown up. It'd be hard to shoot any of these trails. So I don't know. I'm gonna mark a tree in here that shoots, will allow you to shoot most of these trails. But we'll have to see what it looks like in the season, because you might not even be able to shoot these trails once this stuff's all grown up. So a lot of times I don't know, I call it bamboo, like Michigan bamboo. I don't know what it's called, but that stuff gets pretty tall, pretty thick. Grasses too. So I'm definitely gonna mark a tree back here and hopefully find something more back up towards the other thicker stuff on that lane. So I followed this trail. It's hard to see, but there's a big runway that comes through here. Comes right over here to this opening. And there's runways going up through there. Obviously a big one here, running down this opening here. And there's this tree that you could hunt, but it's kind of straight on. I mean, you'd be right on top of them. So I almost think I like that tree right there. That would give you a shot to any of these trails coming out of here, plus this trail here, and possibly back behind. But that would give you this whole little corner. So where I'm at is the back corner of this crop field. I don't really like hunting next to crop fields. It's so open, but during the rut they might come out here, especially if this is standing corn, which it should be this year. It was beans last year, and so I think this is going to be a really good spot for the rut. But I definitely think that tree right there, and there's a hole there you could shoot through to here. You might be able to get away with it with that one. Standing on the back side of it, it's kind of on the nose. But so that trail comes out here, and then I'm gonna walk this, and there's all kinds of runways still coming out of this stuff that cross this. But over here is big, nasty, marshy, dead ash, kind of a swampy area. But I think this is kind of a main vein. You know, I think they might come out of this. If they don't directly come out of that middle part where it's real thick, which they, you know, it's a very good likely possibility that they will, they might come out here and hit this, you know, more of a path of least resistance kind of thing to head to that field. There's runways coming out of there, so they could be bedding anywhere in here. It's so thick. There's another good tree right there, or these two. That one's kind of open, but quite a few good ones in here. I marked a couple. I definitely like that sign over there. I wish I could get in there somehow and hunt in that thicker part. It's just so hard. I marked the tree, come back in the season. Any kind of north wind would be perfect for this spot, because if they're bedding in here and they're going south to that field, I can walk that other side, the west edge of this, come down, circle around, and come back up into a tree or one of these trees, or that way I can stay right out of keep my wind right out of there. Well, I made it up here to the north side of this old lane here, and as soon as I hit the woods where this trail comes in, goes in here, there's a rub there, there's a rub there, another one right there, and this So to cover this spot, it gets real thick, as you can see, just like back off to the west where I was. But this would be a good spot. This tree right here, it's probably a 30-yard shot to right here. But you know, depending on the wind, and if you're doing the old tag team buddy system, one guy set here and one guy down there, especially on a west wind, wind's blowing that way, come in from up here and come on this side of all this thick stuff. So it's another good tree that I'm gonna mark. So I pretty much scoured this area as much as I want to. I've seen what I need to see. I know they're bedding in here. All this stuff, I was in here in the fall and this was all dry. So during the season, they're definitely bedding back in here. And it's just good to know, kind of pinpoint the main routes where most of the sign is, you know, the biggest trails and whatnot. So I'm gonna crawl out of here, head back, get up to the main land up there. See you guys in a minute. Now this side, this is the piece that I'd hunted last year. So I hunted somewhere right up in here, in this area, right on the edge. There was a nice little popple tree that I climbed up in. So, but once I come across here and I hit this edge, now this is where all the sign starts happening. This whole side right here, well, probably from about here back. This area back is littered with rubs and lots of trails coming across. Now this stuff here, like I said, is real thick. I think they're bedding in here as well. But most of the sign was on this edge all the way around here. So what you saw in the video there, I come in and I come down in like this, and then I double back over into here, and right about here is where I found that rub on that tree that was pretty shredded up to here. And there's a main trail that in here that goes like this, and like this is another one here, and then trails going this way all through here. But these ones go right out to the crop field back here. This is a big crop field. I mean, it's pretty big. So there's more crops back over here. There's water here, more grass, and then you got this real thick tag alder chunk of tag alder and tall grasses that it's quite a walk back here. I mean, it's pretty close to a mile. So no sign of people back here like over here, where this side you can pretty easily navigate up through the woods on the edges. You know, maybe the private people are coming over and hunting in here. I don't know, but so that big rub that I found at first was right here. And then as I walked towards the field, this is the trail that I hit that run this way. And I hit that trail, and that's where I found all those other rubs, was right over in here. There's a bunch of rubs, and then I followed this trail back up into here, and I found a bunch more. I mean, this whole area up in here is just littered with rubs. I mean, just crazy amounts of rubs. And so that parallel trail that I was talking about, where I said that the deer, these bucks would be running that trail upwind or downwind, depending on the wind of this field, or just scent checking all these trails coming out into that field, was right here, right here. And that trail runs the whole length of this section of woods. And this is probably, I'm gonna say it's probably 150 or so yards wide, maybe a little more. But that trail right there, every trail that comes across here, you know, that trail would intersects every one of those, and that's what he's doing. And so all the sign that's all around, and then all the sign that I found in here, that's where he's living, that's where the bucks are living, as far, and possibly does during season. So that's the trail that I hit. That's where all the sign was. Right in here is where I found the trees that I could possibly hunt, that kind of split these two main trails, and then also shoot this one. So once I found all that, I come out, and then right here is where I come out into that lane. This is that lane that I come into, that's just all tall grass. Right here would be that popple tree, that I said would be a good tree to hunt that's on the end of that lane, that's kind of open. And then there's the other popple was right in here that you could shoot down into that lane and then shoot back into here. That gives you a little more cover, a little more backdrop, and not being so exposed up in here. So from there, I come out and I walk down this way, and then there was a couple more trees, a couple more popples right in here that I could hunt. Right here was the split one. And so there's a few good ones right along this edge that you could shoot, you know, out into here as well as back in the woods. But it's so thick back in here that I think that one of these trees or one of these two is going to be the better option. Over here, this is that thick, nasty, watery, swampy, mucky area that I was talking about. That's between the grass and the crops. Really, I walked up to this edge here, looked down in there, and it's really not conducive to bedding. I mean, there's a lot of water in there. I'm sure even in the fall, just by looking at it, it's so low. And, you know, just the type of vegetation that was in there, you could just tell that there's a lot of water. So I really didn't pay any attention to that. And there wasn't a lot of runways going across it anyway to come to this field. So I didn't really pay attention to it. So from there, I come down, walk down here, a few trails, you know, coming out of this stuff, going into here, but they all come and they hit this main trail. I mean, there's a main trail that goes all the way out into this crop field. This trail is what I followed all the way down into here, and then I wrapped through the woods. This is kind of not, I drew it kind of, that's not exactly a representation. I had to cut through the woods here to get back over. I think this water came over a little further than I drew it, but right here at the end was where I found those other rubs that were kind of at the edge of the woods on this side. And so I think this is a really good area for a buck to be living, or bucks, especially during the breeding, during the rut, and when there's pressure out here. I think there's going to be a lot of deer in here. And just the way that trail right there and all the sign that's around it that's the trail that I want to hunt. Whether I'm hunting it here, in the middle, over here, that's the trail that I want to be watching, or some sort of variation of it. Like I said, they could come out here and come down, but that's kind of the overview of the property. And so I just wanted to go through and show you guys kind of what I was looking for, why I didn't pay attention to this once I got into it. Just too much hunter sign, not thick enough, not open enough, not enough buck sign, not enough deer sign in general. Once you get over here, all this right here is tore up with runways and rubs and all kinds of stuff. And this should be corn this year. So this right here is going to be a really good edge to watch, because there's going to be cover, and they're going to feel comfortable going through there in daylight. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that and kind of break up the monotony of the scouting videos. So I appreciate you guys again for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope it makes sense now a little better, that you can see it in a picture form. Let me know, you know, if you guys like this style of how I'm breaking it down. I know a lot of other guys do this too, but I think that it's a really good idea to be able to see it and actually picture it in your mind, because once I got in here and I'm watching the way I was talking about how I move back and forth and this trail going this way and these trails, it just kind of got confusing even for me, and I was there to see it. So let me know if this works better. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this to break up the monotony too. So guys, once I erased my whole whiteboard, I realized I skipped over one of the most important parts of this whole thing, and that's access and egress, or entry and exit routes. I redrew it the best I could to match what I had on here. But I think a lot of guys just skip over entry and exit routes, and they just kind of mention it, and then they just assume that you're going to know what to look for or what to think about when it comes to that. And a lot of experienced hunters definitely will know what to do with that information, or what to do based on what kind of wind there is, or how to access and exit a certain area. But some guys might not know how to put that picture together. So it's nice to show you here. This spot in particular, I'm mostly going to hunt it at night, just because of the layout of everything. All the deer I'm expecting to be bedding in here, and going out to the crops at night. So for the most of this example, I'm going to be focused on a night hunt. So for any kind of north to northwest, west, southwest, I'm going to want to come in and go to the east side of the woodlot and come up here and come into this tree or any of these trees here, or even up and around and drop down into this group of trees here in the middle. For this side, I probably wouldn't hunt this side on any kind of a west wind, just because it's going to be blowing southwest, west. You could get away with a northwest or a straight north wind on this side, but if that was the case, I'd still probably pick one of these sides anyway because of the cover that's offered versus this more open grassy area. So if I had from a north to any kind of a northeast, east, southeast wind, predominantly blowing this way, I'm going to want to come in and go around this side and come up and either loop down into these trees or these trees, or set up in a tree out here if I can find one, because that way obviously my wind's going to be blowing out towards the open woods, across this grass, out into the fields, some sort of variation of that, and not into this area. So I hope that helps. Like I said, any kind of a west wind, come in on the east side and come into it. Any kind of a easterly, you're going to come in on the west side, loop down into things. And as far as the exit, I'm going to want to get down, and I'm not going to want to come back out to this edge here and come either way, whichever way I traveled in. I'm not going to want to come back out here because there's going to be deer out here and I don't want to bump those deer. So I either get down, and in this case here, I come down and come out same way. If I'm in the middle here, and the wind's a west wind at all, and I want to stay away from these crops on this side, I'm going to come in and just go through the woods and out to this edge and come back. I'm not going to want to come out to this edge here. I'm going to be bumping deer. They're going to know, they're going to see my light, they're going to hear the noise, what have you. So I want to do the least amount of intrusion as possible. I want to let them know that I'm there, the least amount, whether it's on my entry or my exit. Especially if you plan on hunting the same location or the same area more than once, you definitely don't want to, alert the deer. A lot of guys only hunt a tree one time, and so at the end of the hunt, they drop their stuff out of the tree and make a bunch of noise. And I'm one of those guys. If I know I'm not coming back to that spot for a while or at all, I will I won't care as much. But if you have a private piece or a public piece that you've got pretty much exclusive use of that you don't want to ruin, you definitely have to pay attention to your entry and exit routes. And so I hope this makes sense. The other thing that I thought about was, if deer come out this way at all and they hit my trail coming in, if they hit my scent, you just kind of have to play that by ear, chance it, I guess. You're either going to blow them out coming in this way if the wind's coming like this, or, if the wind's going like this, you're going to blow them out with your wind, or you can have the chance of them hitting your track and not coming that way. But myself, I would probably take the chance of not alerting them the whole bedding area to my presence, and try to keep obviously rubber boots on and stuff like that. But I'd probably take my chances on the wind blowing away from the bedding area than I would them cutting my track and not coming the direction that I expect them to. So it's just something to remember, guys, something to think about. Don't always just take the path of least resistance, whatever way it is, into your spot. Sometimes you might have to come up and loop back down, or when you're leaving, come a different route. You might have to cut right through these, depending on your situation and layout of your hunting area. Do the best you can to not alert the deer to your presence. And so that's kind of the gist of entry and exit routes. Okay, guys, I made it out here to the main open area. If you're still with me, I appreciate you. I know these scouting videos can get kind of boring, but I've been told in the past that in some of my videos that I talk too much and that guys want to see more hunting and less talking. And well, there's videos out there for that. Whitetail Affinity, what I want for this channel is to help people kill deer from their first deer, or just put a couple does in the freezer every year, all the way up to trying to kill the biggest buck that is in their section. One of the reasons why I talk a lot is because I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm a lot further behind some guys and a lot further ahead of a lot of people too. So the reason why I say a lot and talk a lot is for you to learn something, for me to help you shorten your learning curve. Because before YouTube and before, big name writers and all that stuff, when I was a kid growing up, it was North American whitetail and deer hunting, and that's the content that I could consume. The Outdoor Channel, but let's face it, most of that stuff is not real life for guys like us that have to do it on our own, don't have big leases or can't afford big, huge pieces of property. And so I try to be as detailed as possible and explain things, why I'm doing what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, where I'm doing it, what I'm focusing on. And if it comes across as long-winded and talking too much, then I guess those guys will just have to find another channel, because I'm trying to help everyone from, like I said, beginners all the way up. And there's channels for big bucks, and that's all they focus on, and that's fine. That's what every moderately serious deer hunter and above, that's the goal, is to shoot a giant. Well, that's my goal too, but at the end of the day, I love the feeling of being able to open my freezer and get a pack of burger for some chili or spaghetti or whatever. And so that's kind of why I do the things the way I do, is because I'm trying to teach what I know. I'm a plumber, welder, fitter by trade. And when I was learning to weld, it took me a while. It took a couple of years to really get it down to the point where I know what I'm doing, basically. And even still, sometimes I'm a little rusty. But the point is that I learned from a bunch of different guys. I learned one guy's technique, and I learned another guy's way of doing things, and see all those different teachers come together, and now I have my own process. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say is, there's channels for big bucks, there's channels for just bedding, there's channels for just focusing on food, and some guys like to hunt just funnels, and some guys hunt strictly food sources, some guys just hunt in a way, some guys live in Iowa, and the playing field is totally different than a guy hunting in Michigan or Pennsylvania and big woods, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is that my long-windedness comes from trying to explain things my way, the way I learned, and what I've learned and mistakes I've made. And you can listen to me, then you can listen to 100 other guys, and you can pick what you learn from each of those people to help you get on more deer, get on bigger bucks, whatever your goal is. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up and say that I appreciate you guys if you're still with me. I'm talking a lot right now, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be thorough and helpful. I'm a regular working everyday guy just like you guys, so I really have nothing to gain from it other than the feeling of, hey man, this is what you said here clicked, and I'm going to use that to scout my next piece, or the next time I hunt, or the way you said this about the wind and how you're accessing, like all that stuff doesn't just come easy. It's just like I said, like welding or any sort of skill, you have to hone it over time, and a lot of it comes through mistakes. Well, I'm just trying to help you guys avoid some of my mistakes, get ahead in the game, so that when hunting season comes, you can feel more confident. And the odds are already stacked against us when we're trying to chase these deer, and anything that can help you is worth taking into consideration. So with all that, thank you guys again for watching today. I'm gonna be putting out more videos. Like I said, it's just been busy. Took some time off. Don't know if I mentioned, we've got number 5 on the way. I'm finally getting my boy. So 4 girls and number 5 is the boy. So again, appreciate every one of you, every subscriber, every person that watches. I appreciate every one of you. So with all that said, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that before you leave, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.